supposed to say? I'm Jeremy Siers.
Hey, I'm Jeremy Siers.
Man, this is gonna be hard for me, dude. This seems like I'm not used to acting, bro.
Jeremy Siers.
It seems super uncomfortable though. It seems super uncomfortable to be like, I don't always drink Dos Equis. Right. Or no, I don't always drink beer, but when I do, my fucking name's Jeremy Siers. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just seems super fucking weird.
Okay. So let's get into the cigars. Now, one of these cigars is for whiskey, and that is the Maduro.
That's the shorter Maduro one.
Okay.
And the way that came about was we were going through, you were sending me samples of different cigars, trying to get the blend down and stuff. And one of the batches you sent me, I really liked 2 of them.
One of the batches. I send Jeremy's like a black hole of cigars. And I'm like, hey, what'd you think of those? And you're going to have to send them to me again. I lost my notes on those. You're going to have to send. I'm like, dude, this is why it took years. This is at least 100 cigars went into this.
So one of the batches he sent me, I really liked 2 of them. And I was like, Brian, instead of picking one, what do you think about doing 2 and doing like one for like morning and night or one for coffee and whiskey? Because I really think one of these would be really good to pair with whiskey and one would probably be better morning cigar with coffee.
Yeah.
And he's like, I fucking love it. I love it. So that's what we did. We picked both.
So some of this tobacco in here I know comes from Aganorsa.
Which is good tobacco.
Good, very good. Some of the best Corojo Nicaraguan tobacco. I believe they also grew the Criollo in here. The wrapper comes from Ecuador. It is an Ecuadorian Habano Maduro sun-grown. That's why it's not like completely dark. It's got like a reddish Colorado to it. And then the binder is Nicaraguan. It was rolled by Guillermo at Tabacalera de Perla. I always have trouble saying that one.
Can I say you're way better than me, though?
Yeah, well, that doesn't say much.
I destroy it.
You don't even try to get the name.
No, I don't. I'm just giving up, and it's just part of my shtick at this point because I've got too much redneck in my twang to like pronounce Spanish stuff properly. You know what I'm saying?
The L doesn't work well.
Give me some of them quesadillas.
Right.
Them quesadillas.
Quesadillas. This is a banger of a cigar.
It's great.
It is a banger. And so, by the way, Guillermo also rolls some of the Paul Stulak stuff, and you know.
There was the Privada Limitada, right?
Yeah.
When I smoked this cigar, it reminded me a little bit of that cigar.
Yeah.
We talked about cigar flavors before. I tend to go more toward darker, bolder flavored cigars. But lately, I feel like my palate has leveled off a little bit to where I'm enjoying some of the milder stuff. So
becoming a seasoned cigar smoker.
I mean, I've only been smoking for like 25 years. At some point, people say it to me on.
Have you really been smoking for like you haven't been smoking like this though?
No.
Oh, so what is this, like 3 to 5 years where you've been like really into it daily basis?
Daily basis, probably 5 to 8.
Okay, so you're in the same
somewhere in that range. But like been smoking them like me and my wife when she actually used to like me. No, I'm kidding. I joke with her all the time because we used to go to cigar bars when we were dating. And she would have a cigar with me. We would smoke cigars. And, we've been married for 12 years. So, I mean, I've been smoking cigars since I was probably 16, 17 years old. Regularly since I was in my early 20s. Okay. And several a day for the last 7 years or so.
There's something, where's the pin, the hammer, the stake that goes into the railroad thing?
Okay.
Okay. Oh, you covered it.
I didn't cover it. I included it.
Okay.
It's right here.
So can you get that, Johnny? Jeremy's got this, and can you tell everyone at home what that represents? Because I thought that was very interesting.
My dad worked for the railroad for 41 and a half. He used to always make sure he said the half because that fucking last half was brutal. Wow. I also worked for the railroad for.
I didn't know your dad worked. I just knew about you.
Yeah, almost. Well, we had a lot of people in my family. His uncle worked in the railroad. My dad worked the railroad. I worked there for almost 16 years.
Why 15. I think that's cool, I don't know, but I love trains, and I just think it's pretty cool. So we have the whiskey. This is a 5x50 Maduro sun-grown Ecuadorian Habano. It is a banger of a cigar.
It's a good one.
Talk to me about the pairing. You're very specific about which whiskeys you think this pairs well?
Well, not particularly. I just brought these 2 because in general, I think these are 2 good whiskeys to pair with cigars in general.
Okay.
And I brought a Scotch and a bourbon because you got your Scotch snobs out there that if you only do bourbon, they're going to talk about how bourbon is piss and Scotch is the only thing to drink.
I think
that is a Sherry Bomb Scotch, Glendronach 15. It's a very sweet sherry bomb type Scotch, and it goes good. I've almost never paired it with a cigar that it wasn't good with. It kind of usually bumps up the sweetness a little bit, kind of gives you some of that syrupy sweetness on your palate that when you take a puff on the cigar, it kind of carries through. We gonna like these cigars?
I'm more interested in the whiskey right now.
You switch?
Whoa, of course. Whoa.
That's not strong. Don't be a bitch.
No,
I'm
not. I'm not saying it's strong. I'm saying it's like.
It's 46.
Wow, though.
It's
the flavor, like the flavors.
It's a sherry bomb, man. That's been aged in Oloroso and PX. How would you say that? I think it's Pedro. I always fuck it up. Pedro Jimenez. Yeah. So 2 different types of sherry cat. You can taste the sweetness though.
Oh yeah, of course.
Terribly sweet.
But then there's also like I hear a lot of Scotch reviewers call it like that. Like biscuits and
there are biscuits and
sugar
stuff.
Cookies and
I think in this one in particular, I get more biscuits and sugar cookies and stuff like that in Irish whiskeys. Some Scotches have it for sure, but that one, because of all the sherry, the main thing that I get is just like that fruity, dark fruit sweetness, which I think goes really good with cigars.
On to the next one, we have our coffee cigar.
A little lighter, a little milder. That's a Habano. What wrapper?
It is a Habano, a Nicaraguan Habano, more of a natural wrapper. I believe this also has Corojo and Criollo in it, but it's it's a Nicaraguan puro, as they call it. And so,
or as I call it, Puro.
Right.
That's a Nicaraguan Puro.
And this you like to pair this with coffee in the morning.
Yeah, that to me that's
it's a bolder morning cigar.
And here's the thing: either cigar could go with either, right?
Okay.
I know a lot of guys that like smoking Maduros with coffee, but to me, that's a little milder. It's going to go a little easier in the morning when you maybe don't have a lot of food on your stomach. It's a little lighter, a little easier going. Pairs well with coffee.
Great.
There's a little bit of nuttiness in that, and I feel like cigars with nuttiness
some
in
oatmeal and some coffee.
Yeah,
and
I feel like that goes good with coffee.
Great.
Cheers. Keep drinking. Oh, whoa, easy.
Oh my God.
Easy. Easy. People ask me that sometimes. They're like, how much would it take you to cut the beard? I'm like, there's no amount of money.
Wow.
There's
really
just
into the beard.
It's
just a lifestyle.
I mean, I would just feel weird with that. My kids would probably cry and not recognize me. I mean, like, I've had a beard since my kids forever. My daughter has never seen me without a beard. Like, she sees pictures of me and she's like, you look weird.
Get burnt pretzel, a little bread.
I'm already lit, so you're gonna have to.
A little bit of.
What's your feelings on the pre-light?
So, do you nose a spirit when you smoke? When you drink spirits?
I do.
So, cold draw, the pre-light is the same as nosing a spirit.
I would agree with that. You get very different notes in the cold draw.
You know, once in a while you do get something similar though, and I enjoy that when that happens. This is a rustic cigar.
I'm a rustic guy.
You are. It's a perfect fit.
There's nothing polished about this situation right here, man. There's no polishing going on. It's good, right?
Now I see why you say it's a whiskey cigar.
It's just got those darker notes.
It's like a burned barrel.
Yeah, it's got those darker notes. When you say a cigar is smoky, it sounds stupid because they're obviously all smoky, but there's there's like a charred wood kind of note to some cigars that's different than like.
But this in particular, though, I don't know what other. If someone loved this, I can't say, oh, you should try that. Then I don't know what that would be. This is very mesquite barbecue chips, burning on
not to the level of like a Kentucky fire cured cigar. Not like that.
No.
That's like
natural smoked wood.
That's like
burning wood.
That's like a 10, and this is like a 3, right? There's some chocolate notes in there on the back.
And then the retro is amazing. It zaps you right the way you want it. It's
smooth enough that you can put a pretty good puff through the nostrils and it doesn't blow you out, but it's got enough spice and pepper there that it lets you know it's there. You know what I mean? It's good. You're better with
rye bread kind of situation.
You're better with some of those like super rare, like you're like, ooh, I taste umami or something crazy, and I'm like, what the f-? Like you know what I mean? some people give people shit about that. And I'm like,
and there is not one conversation Jeremy and I have, which, by the way, if you're going to have a phone call with Jeremy, you better block out at least minimum 48 minutes.
Hey, man, I work at home by myself, man. I got to talk to people.
I'm like, jeez, what is Jeremy? I have other things. I like you a lot, but I have other things to do today. Okay, guys, we are here today to talk about the ritual of making coffee in the morning, and you're on.
Well, coffee is such a ritualistic thing for me, especially. Even like first thing in the morning when I wake up and I'm groggy and my 4-year-old's like trying to make me make breakfast. Mm-hmm. I still have to do my ritual. It's not a proper morning until I do, get my beans, get my hot water going, pour over.
It's like meditation first thing in the morning to get things going.
Yes.
I don't even talk to her before coffee. It's a bad thing. Talking to her prior to coffee. I don't know if she's off camera. It's my wife's over there.
Allison's here
It's no bueno before the coffee. You got to get a little caffeine in the system.
Same.
So, show us the ritual. We've seen it before, but we want to see it again, and we want to get both of your minds on it. Show us the ritual.
So we're gonna be making some bourbon barrel coffee. This is actually Brazilian coffee beans, aged in Buffalo Trace barrels for 6 months.
Buffalo Trace.
Yeah.
Those are expensive barrels too.
They are expensive barrels, which is why the coffee is expensive.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I found when I was looking into old whiskey barrels to do different things with that. The brand matters. It's not like a used whiskey barrel is a used whiskey barrel. Like you get into Buffalo Trace barrels and stuff, they're like 3 times more than a normal barrel.
So that's why this is a little more expensive, but super justifiable once you smell the beans first.
Yeah, it always amazes me. There's a couple companies that I mess with that make this kind of coffee. It always amazes me how much bourbon influence comes through just from aging in a barrel. It doesn't. I mean, it's a dry barrel when they put it in there, but man, it comes through.
But it's wood, so it's pores and
the whole aromatic situation.
Yes. So first thing I always do is grind my beans.
Same grinder I have. That's a great grinder for pour over.
Yeah, great basic grinder. For pour over, I usually do on the Encore, I go about 18. I like it a little coarser.
Yep, that's me.
Yeah? Cool. Okay.
Right about there.
Let's go. Got some beans in there already. Right,
now, do you weigh your beans before you put them in there?
I don't.
Okay.
Usually because I go through phases with my coffees. Like there's usually if I open one, I'll probably be drinking it for the next 3 or 4 days. I'll pour whatever in there, and then usually that goes through for the day.
You weigh it out in here.
Yeah. Yes.
Because the pour over, that's a note. Why some people don't like pour over, but what makes it part of a ritual is it's such specific steps you have to go through.
Yes.
The coffee has to be a certain way. The water has to be a certain way.
Certain grind.
The pour speed has to be, but it's by far the best way.
It is.
I love pour over coffee.
It's so clean. It's just the purest way to get.
And Chemex is definitely the cleanest. I also have a Kalita, and even though it's still pour over, it makes a very different cup of coffee than a Chemex.
So interesting.
It's something about the filter, because these Chemex filters are real thick and they filter out more of the oils, which gives it a cleaner flavor. The Kalita is a thinner filter, it lets more of those oils through, so it's kind of a thicker, meatier kind of brew.
You could go into this all day.
Coffee goes as deep as cigars or bourbon. It goes deep.
So I've already pre-wet our filter.
Got to pre-wet it.
And this is where we'll do
the whey.
The whey. So we're doing 15 to 1?
15 to 1? That's normally what I go with.
I'm going to do about 30 grams of coffee because we want to get a little taste for everybody.
For everybody, yep.
What's 30 times 15?
Little Asian persuasion going on over here. No, that's
Oh,
Greek.
those are
Greek. That's Greek or Roman?
Yeah, those are Greek. Those are some quintessential New York diner coffee cups.
Nice. First I thought it was Asian. I'm like, wait a minute. No, it's definitely not Asian. That's for sure Greek.
Okay, we got a little more than 30, but it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, give or take a little bit, doesn't it?
Water temperature, what's your go-to?
It depends. The darker the coffee, the lower the temperature.
Yep.
Right? The lighter roast, the higher. So dark roast, usually 190 to 200 in that, and then lighter roast, usually 205, 210, somewhere around there. You don't want to get the coffee too hot because you can scorch the coffee.
No.
Yeah.
So we're going to start
Gonna do a bloom?
Yep.
You usually bloom for 30 seconds to a minute?
Ish. I just wait until I get like everything
Nice and wet, give it a
nice and
swirl.
wet.
That's the Hoffman technique. If you ever watch
Yeah.
James Hoffman,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
big into the swirl, man. He's big
You're
into the swirl.
aggravating the beans.
You're making sure all those grounds are good and wet so that you can release all the,
Exactly.
what is it? It's not nitrogen, it's CO2.
CO2.
CO2 that's trapped in
Yep.
the beans. Yeah.
And you can see it kind of bubbling once it.
Yep. That's how you can tell if a coffee's a good fresh coffee, by the way. Because you put some old stale stuff in there, it's not going to do the bubble.
Okay, I think we're ready.
Let her rip, tater chip.
In the center,
Concentric circles.
concentric, and I tried to avoid the walls too, because we want the coffee and the water to be marrying together as much as possible. Oop. That's a good first pour.
Got a nice little froth going on top. And you can always tell at the end if you did good on your pouring, your coffee bed should be nice and flat.
It's always.
You've
gotta
always
do it.
she's like, I've got that shit nailed down. It is flat. You can put a level on that shit.
Yes, and I find that the trick is that you just, if you stay more so in the middle with the water.
And that swirl in the beginning, I think, helps level
yeah,
everything out real good too.
exactly.
I love pour over though, man. It is a process, and some people don't have the time in the morning for a pour over. But if you do, if you try it, you'll find that you'll make the time. Get up a few minutes earlier, have a little morning ritual, sit and enjoy your coffee.
Brian asks me why it takes an hour for me to get ready in the morning.
Because you got to spend 30 minutes making coffee.
Exactly.
And then there's always the subject of, do you drink coffee black or do you add stuff? That's a debated thing. Some people say if you add it, it doesn't make it coffee anymore.
That's bullshit.
I agree.
You drink coffee how you like drinking coffee.
It's kind of like whiskey. Drink it the way you like it.
Exactly. But I mean, if you're getting something like this where you're really looking for flavor notes in it,
Yeah.
sure, it's a good idea to, at least for your first cup,
Drink
to
black.
really drink it black so you really taste it. But if it's your everyday morning coffee or even afternoon, however many,
Drink it how you like it.
drink it how you like it.
One caveat,
Yeah.
flavored creamers have got to go.
I don't like flavored creamer.
My wife loves the flavored creamers, and I always tell her, I'm like, look, cream, sugar, whatever, but man, as soon as you put like a flavored creamer, you're not going to taste the coffee anymore because you added a whole bunch of flavor to it.
True.
But
True.
again, that being said,
Drink it how you like it.
that being
still.
said, if you like it to taste like hazelnuts, then go for it. You know?
My preference is oat milk.
Oat milk.
Oatly.
She's been into oat milk.
That's what mine is.
What have you been drinking lately?
Well, I mean, it's oat milk creamer.
The oat
It's
milk.
caramel.
What's that drink you get from? It's oat milk. Cold.
The shaken espresso.
Oat milk shaken espresso.
Oh.
She's been into those lately. She's big
They're
fan.
good.
Big fan. Big fan of the
Yum.
oat milk shaken espresso. It's a little too bougie for me.
Okay, I think we are
You're good.
flat bedded out.
You're flatbed. You're drawn down.
Put a grill on there.
You're down to a drip. I mean, yank this out and put it in your
Sure,
sink.
yeah. Do you give it a squeeze at the end?
I usually don't. Would you like me to?
No, you don't have to. I like to just because I don't want to get a mess, but you don't have to. There you go.
Well, I don't want to put that in your garbage disposal. That would have been
No.
bad.
All right, you want to pour?
Yeah. Man. Let's get some coffee. Johnny, you want to get some close up of this or anything? Are you on it?
Yep, rolling.
Little prostate problem there. Sorry. Just gonna put a little bit in each cup, and I'll come back and make sure we have enough for.
Yeah. It's good for like a taste.
Short stroke this first one. Do that.
Beautiful.
All right, so the spouses are gonna join you here.
Woo!
All right.
She's hot. She's hot, ladies and gentlemen.
And this, I want you to tell me what about the flavor notes you get out of it, and because I think it's a great pairing with
It is. It's going to be great. And I think afterwards we're going to film another little segment. We're going to go outside and actually.
First of all, I can't believe that everyone doesn't know this, but when you grow up in or around New York, like this is your $1.60
Yeah.
coffee cup. This is what
Oh,
they
yeah?
give you at like it looks like a hot dog stand, but they sell like bagels and coffee, and you get this for
But
like.
it's
usually
paper,
a
obviously.
I
Yeah.
always order it light and sweet. That's how I get my coffee. There's so much sugar in it, it could kill you. yeah.
I've said on the channel
Yeah.
before, it's like I drink coffee black sometimes if I really want to taste the coffee, enjoy it.
Yeah.
But like in the morning, a lot of time I'm not in the mood for black. I'll put some sugar and some half and half in
yeah.
there and dose it up.
I don't love the bourbon barrel coffees.
Have you tried it with sugar and cream?
No.
I think it does it a little bit of a favor sometimes. This is probably really
This is a really good one, though. I will be honest with you. Some of the other ones that I've tried, I've just felt like it was chemically or something. Like
that one's mild.
The chemically that you're smelling is the alcohol, the smell of the fermented barrels.
It definitely gets a little bit of all the bourbon barrel, I don't say funk in a negative way, but all the bourbon barrel coffees I have a little bit of like this twang.
Yeah.
And I think it's like she said, it's because of the fact that there was alcohol in that barrel at one point. And it's doing there's
I'm
something.
getting that.
So
Are you guys also getting a really like a nice bitter, like almost an espresso flavor?
Yeah.
Got a little bitter. I get it on the back.
Yeah.
Yes.
On the back, I get the bitter.
Yeah.
On the front, it's
no
very
bitter,
smooth, very mellow. That's where I get the chocolate.
Do you know why that is? Because on the front of your tongue is where your sweet and taste receptors
Bitter's on
are.
the sides, right?
Bitter's on the back side.
Yeah.
That's exactly where you get it.
And that's why a lot of times when people say on the front, I get this, on the back, it's because once that, or my buddies, the bourbon junkies, do what they call the drowning pheasant.
What's that?
Jesus.
They do it with whiskey. They call it the drowning pheasant. It's a drinking technique, they say, that equally coats the whole tongue, where they put it in there.
Is this the slurping thing?
Oh my good
So
lord.
you're drowning your tongue in
no, you lean back when you swallow, so you almost fucking choke to death half the time. So they call it the drowning
This
pheasant.
is from Bean to Bean, by the
Bean
way,
to Bean.
a roaster we work with in Philadelphia. They're
They
amazing.
do amazing.
Look at that
stuff.
packaging, too,
I
man.
know. The
Incredible.
packaging is beautiful.
The packaging is
So
beautiful.
yeah, we put this on the site. It sold out like in minutes. Like it's incredible.
In fact, we actually, I do want to note too, we have the last of their entire
You got
batch.
more of it?
No, this is it. We have, I think, about 30 canisters left, and
Nice.
they contacted me within about a month or so.
And they were
after
like,
we
"Boy, you
had-
guys really like bourbon flavored
He was
coffee,
like,
huh?"
We have 30 canisters left. Do you want them? I said, yes. I didn't even let him finish the sentence. Yes, we'll take it. So this is what we have on PrivadaCoffee.com is the last of these.
It's tasty.
So I think
I like it.
talking about your cigar, a lot of people pair Connecticut Shades with coffee, but I actually think Habano goes just as well, sometimes better.
They do. I think, and even Maduros. Like in this one, we went with a lighter one for the coffee.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, like you said, lean toward the lighter wrappered cigars,
yeah.
as we did in this.
Yeah.
But man, sometimes a Maduro with coffee, the sweetness in that Maduro wrapper, like it does some good things.
For sure.
But yeah, I'm not a huge Connecticut Shade guy. That's just me. I
love them and I hate them, and I love them and I hate them, and I love them.
I like them
and
with coffee. Connecticut.
I
me-
love them sometimes, all the time.
And I know there's going to be people that love Connecticut Shades that absolutely destroy me for saying this. But I feel like it's kind of a one-trick pony, man. I feel like so many of them have a lot of similar notes in them that like I have a hard time.
I think that it used to be that way, but Nicaragua changed that.
They did. Now, I will say I have noticed there was a J. London. I don't know if you've ever had
Jay
that.
London's fantastic.
That was
Jonathan,
probably
shout out to Jonathan.
That was one of my favorite Connecticut's I've had in a while, and that was very different from any Connecticut I'd had before.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this has got some of these like.
Have you had
deeper-
the Cuban link?
The Cuban.
I will
link.
send you the Cuban link.
Oh,
You
you
will
have?
fall in love. It is
I don't think
unbelievable.
I've
Out
had
of Costa Rica.
So Costa Rica, I've had some good stuff. From
Oh,
Costa Rica.
amazing. There's a reason for that. Hey, so if you love coffee, check out PrivadaCoffee.com. Ophelia's going around finding all the best roasters in this beautiful country has to offer and sharing with you what we feel are their top 2 or 3 coffees. And I think you can expect some of your own coffee soon.
Yeah.
And I'm coming out with a coffee that is decaf. It is for cigar smokers. It is for people that are sensitive to caffeine. And it's no difference. You will not be able to tell any difference.
And man, because if there's 2 things that I think are just meant to go together, it's whiskey and cigars and coffee. And cigars.
Yeah, for sure.
Coffee and cigars, the flavors just, I mean, and somebody explained it to me like this, they're like a lot of the same companies a lot of the same
Countries.
countries that grow a lot of the coffee beans are the same companies that are growing the tobaccos and stuff.
Correct.
So it makes sense that those flavors
Yes.
kind of, they work together.
Yeah.
right?
So, from our family and the Siers family to yours, enjoy your morning with coffee. I'd say that's a good pair.
Done. Cut.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this is over. I mean, this and coffee, especially this bourbon coffee.
It's really good. So do you want to like briefly just hit since we didn't talk about the wrapper and stuff too much, to say what the wrapper, filler, binder is?
This is a Nicaraguan puro. It is a Habano, original Cuban seed, grown in Nicaragua. Binder is also Nicaraguan. The filler, I believe, is also Corojo and Criollo 98. Some of these tobaccos did also come from Aganorsa as well, but it's amazing how different this is compared to what we just had.
To me, when I smoked these for the first time, this one kind of reminded me, and maybe it was because I did have that other cigar first, this one kind of reminded me of like a slightly more tuned up Davidoff. Like a little more robust than a Davidoff, or maybe like some of their Nicaraguan series that they've come out with that are a little fuller flavored than some of their milder stuff.
I completely see what you're saying, because there's that toastiness to it, and then there's also a little bit of like a mustiness, which I think some people call earth. You know,
musty. You know, people get pissed about the earth thing.
It's not quite like a Dominican olor mustiness, like that mushroom flavor, but it is a little musty, and I appreciate that in a cigar. I think that's something unique. There's also a sweetness at the end, and then a white pepper that zings you,
especially with the coffee.
The
coffee brings out the chocolatey sweetness.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's a ton of chocolate in this cigar. There's chocolate in that coffee for sure, though, and the two together, I think, very nice, very, very nice.
There is this thing in the retro that's like, it's like florals or fruits. You get that little like raspberry zing, or what, I don't know, a jam or something.
It's weird because when you first retro, you get that little bit of fruitiness, I could say, but then it quickly turns to like a white pepper.
Yeah.
And gives you like a little bit of sting. But again, you can negate some of that by not blowing out quite so much.
Yeah.
But I think now, if you're super new to cigars, this may be a little strong for you in the morning. Just make sure you eat some breakfast first, maybe.
I think once you stop smoking some of the classics, or once you start, getting off of the Fuente and stuff like that into like, hey, I want to try something different, this is a great place to be.
It's good.
Or it's a great morning cigar for a seasoned smoker.
Right. And that was kind of my thought, right? It has enough flavor that I still think you could smoke it in the afternoon or evening with a libation. But for me, when I smoked these two, I immediately thought, this is a morning coffee cigar for me. The other one's an afternoon, evening whiskey
Getting
cigar.
a lot more of that sweet.
It's good, man.
Tip of the
the
tongue.
coffee. I think the coffee does it,
It's
man.
a great pairing, I have to admit. Draws perfect.
It's perfect. I think I'd call this a medium. For me, this is a medium. Maybe mild to medium, but probably more medium.
To me, it's a classic medium. I think a lot of things that people say are medium to full are full cigars.
Right.
I mean, any fuller, and you're like really in the.
The other one I would say is definitely more medium full.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That other one's. That ain't the first cigar I'm having of the day.
No.
No.
I mean, I will sometimes, but
Yeah,
again.
you're a real man.
Well, no.
Right.
I'm just like almost immune to tobacco at this point
Right.
because I've dipped my life. I've smoked cigarettes.
You dipped
Oh man! At one point, I was dipping, smoking cigarettes, smoking cigars in a pipe.
at the same time.
All not at the same like moment, but in the same general time frame. And then I was like, man, I am taking way too much tobacco. I need
Wow.
to dial it way back.
So you probably have just a lower tolerance to nicotine.
Yeah, nicotine doesn't. I rarely have ever.
What's the thing with the dip? I see a lot of guys dipping, and I'm like, I don't
It's the
get it.
flavor. I didn't dip any of the flavored stuff. I dipped natural. It was called
Mm-hmm.
Skull Straight, and it's just the flavor of good tobacco, man. It's just that flavor. It's great. It's like a sweet, nice flavor, and it's really pleasant.
Wow.
No, man. If you like coffee and you drink coffee in the morning, I think this is a perfect. Go on the back
This is
porch.
better than a lot of the Connecticut shades I've smoked with coffee, for sure.
I would prefer this with coffee over
Yeah.
a Connecticut Shade, personally.
Yeah.
I think a Connecticut Shade can sometimes compete with coffee a little bit with some of those heavy cedar flavors. I think sometimes
Gets a little grassy at
it
times,
gets a little
too.
grassy and weird with coffee. Like, I don't think that always is the perfect thing. Where I think this has enough of those deeper earthy flavors that with coffee, there goes my damn tongue tied. With coffee, it brings out a little of the sweetness, the chocolatiness.
Which one of these do you like better?
That's tough, man.
They really do both serve a different purpose.
They serve a very different purpose in my mind. if I had to pick one,
kind of shocked at how good this is. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm shocked that we get great cigars, but I think when I get to sit here with someone like you, where we make a cigar for you, it's almost like, even though I've been involved in the process, when we actually do the video and you come to my house and it's like a whole new experience, I'm trying these for the first time in months. And so it's like I'm going back to it and I'm like, wow, we did a good job, man. This is a great stick.
And that's something to be said, actually, that I think we should at least touch on. We don't want to make this video too long, but I think the experience of smoking a cigar affects how you enjoy the cigar, right? So if I'm out mowing the lawn, which I don't do anymore, actually, so I'm lying, but if I'm out doing something and I'm smoking a cigar, I don't enjoy it as much. If you're sitting down with a friend that also enjoys cigars, you've got a nice cup of coffee, what the hell? You get a nice cup of coffee. I can't fucking talk. A nice cup of coffee. You're on a nice back porch, it's a nice day, you're sitting out having a good time. I think the cigar tastes even better.
Oh, yeah.
It totally changes the way you experience the cigar.
The cigar is never the same. And so I think that's something that's really important for a lot of the viewers is that you chase, it's like drugs almost, like you're chasing that high again, and you're not going to typically get it again because it was the temperature, the humidity in the air, how well the cigar was stored, what you paired it with, the company you were with. That's why when I see people at the beach smoking cigars, I'm like, what are you doing? Yeah. What do you? It's windy out here. You can't smoke a cigar.
That's when I smoke like my $3 like bundle cigars.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
We don't have time to smoke the whole cigar. I know you guys are busy and everything, but I think it's great. I'm really proud of these two cigars. I think they're good. I'm super happy that they're with you guys.
Bro.
The first release of a signature cigar is with good folks at Privada.
We have people that are looking at Privada for the first time now. Some of the previous generation of cigar smokers are like, okay, what's going on over here? Let me check it out. And they're trying the cigars, and this is a great cigar. You want to start with a cigar from Privada? Try this. This is something to be proud of. These are unique, really good, curated cigars. We get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cigars. We even have a subscription now, test blend subscription. It comes with a scorecard and a test blend. It's $4 each. Okay, and it's like you're doing my work for me.
So well, hey, it's like source, information. I mean, there's nothing better. That way, you know the cigars you're getting in the club is going to be liked by a lot of people.
No, because there are some cigars that I like and they don't.
Sure, there's been cigars I've asked you about. You're like, no, that shit's garbage, and I'm like, man, I loved it.
Exactly.
Dude, so by the way, I think we all agree. The trail mix was.
Yeah. You need cigars. I got to get someone to run cigars over here.
The trail mix, dude.
Okay.
Oh.
If
you guys can go to your local LCA, if there's any of the trail mixes still out there, I don't know. You think there's any still out there? I know
I think we just sold the last one.
The LCA in my area still had some last time I was in there.
Okay.
That trail mix was one of my favorite LCA cigars that has been out so far. Brother, appreciate you.
Dude.
Glad we did this. I'm sure there'll be more in the future.
Of course.
Once we sell through all these, we'll do some other project.
I can't wait for them to try them and let us know how they go.
It's done well so far. So don't sleep. Get them while they're still in stock because it is a limited amount.
Yes, it is a limited amount.
So grab them up.
Peace in the Middle East and right here in our native country of these United States.
We've already been drinking whiskey. We've drinking coffee. We've had uppers, downers. Shit has gone sideways.
I'm all out of whack. But no, seriously, we love you guys. And I'm just proud to be here and doing this with you all and with this man right next to me. So peace out.